Namaste, dear students. So today also I want to welcome you to our English class of grade 8, and I hope you are ready to learn with your materials, and your materials are your English textbook, notebook and pen or pencil. So are you ready with them? Good. If so, today we are going to learn something new on the writing skill, okay? So it means I think you might have got the idea what we are going to learn today. So can you tell me? No? Okay, you will know about it, okay? For this one, you have to be more active. You should have your exercise book. You should have your pen or pencil, okay? Now, we are going to start the item given on the writing 1. So, what is it? Now, it is, you will know, first of all, read this instruction. Write a story beginning with two friends were walking along the forest. See, this is only the item for us on the writing 1. Is it interesting to you? Are you in confusion? What to do? Oh, what is this? There's only one line, What do you think? Okay, don't worry, I am here to help you. So, in this part, we are going to learn to write a short story, okay? And I just like to ask you a question. Have you developed any story given or based on the given outlines? Yes. Now, this is similar to that one, but here we don't have clues in detail, okay? But here we have only this beginning clue of the story. And I think it's very easy for you because you can write down any story which can match with this beginning, okay? So there is not any hard and fast rule to write. For example, if you want to develop a story given based on the given outlines, at that time you have to be bound there, okay? But here you are free to write any story, but this beginning should be matching, okay? Now this instruction also says us same thing here. Write a story beginning with two friends were walking along the forest. So based on this situation, based on this event, you have to develop a story. And here one student's story can be different from another student's story, okay? But this beginning should be suitable, matching. Now for this one, I just like to show you an example, a model of story beginning with two friends were walking along the forest. Now, while writing a story, first of all you have to write down the title, okay? So I give here title, Two Greedy Friends, alright? Now the story goes like this. Long ago, there were two men in a village, okay? Friends here, two men in a village. They were poor and jobless. So they decided to go to the city to earn money. Then they started their journey. When they were walking through the forest to go to town, they found a bag full of money. There was a huge amount in the bag, so they agreed to divide the money equally. As they had been walking for a long time, they were tired and hungry. Then they decided to eat food and take a rest for a while. Before they continued their journey, according to their plan, one of them went to buy food in the nearest market. Okay, now another paragraph. None of the friends was honest, so the one who had gone to the market thought to poison the food to take the money alone. See, greediness comes in him. Then he mixed poison in the food. On the other hand, another friend also made a similar plan. He planned to murder him on his arrival and take the amount himself. When the man who had gone to buy food returned, another man murdered him. As he was hungry, he first decided to eat food and then take the money. He did not know that the food was poison, so he ate the food and died. The bag of money was left there. Both friends died due to overgreed. This is how this story ends up, okay? And the moral of the story can be overgreed causes loss. See, both of them lose their lives. Okay, so here you are free. Now I have created this story, so based on this beginning you can create another story also, no problem. Okay, but your beginning should be suitable, matching, and generally for this short story you should give their title, it is compulsory. Okay, and if the story carries a moral lesson, then you should write moral also. Is it clear to you? So what is the moral here? Overgreed causes loss. The money is there, but both friends were not there, they died. So this is what you have to understand. Have you got it up to here? Good. If so, my question to you, what is a story then? This type of story. Okay, so simply a story is a description of events in a sequential order. So in that story which I gave you as an example, model story, you can find there also, there's a description of events, different events took place there. What happened? Two friends walked through the forest to go to city. While they were walking, they found a bag full of money and they were hungry also. One of them went to the market to buy food, and then he thought bad thing about his friend, and he bought the poison and he mixed poison in the feed. And another friend who was left in the forest also thought the same thing. See, activities, events. And he also planned to murder his friend. And as soon as his friend came there, he murdered. And he was hungry also, and he ate that food brought by his friend from the market, and because of poison he also died there. So this is how we get the lesson that overgreed is not good to us. Okay, so here you can find many events and we have to write those events in a proper order. Proper order means what happens first, then what happens, otherwise that story won't be clear to understand. So simply you can understand a story is a description of events in a sequential order, proper order. What happens, then what happens, then what happens, you can understand as a plot. Okay, so after this one you should know the tips for writing a story. So I have shown you an example. Now if you follow these tips, then it will be easier for you to develop a readable story. Okay, now you can see the tips. See, read the given beginning, or sometimes you can be given ending of the story, sometimes you can be given title of the story, and sometimes you can be given moral of the story also. Based on the beginning or based on the ending or based on the title or based on the moral, you have to develop a readable, meaningful story. Okay, here. So what you have to do, what's your first job? Your first job is read the given beginning, if beginning is given, or ending or title or moral carefully and understand it. Okay, this is the first job you have to do. And here we are not talking about the story based on the outlines. Okay, next tip, get a clear idea about the plot of the story. Then you have to think for a while, you have to plan, then what type of plot is suitable, what happens first, then what happens, then what, you have to think these things so that it will be easier for you to develop your story. So get a clear idea about the plot of the story. Next one, give a suitable title to the story. Then you start writing your story. So first job you have to do, writing the title. And sometimes after writing a story also you can write the title. Okay, so if you write title first, then that can guide you, that can lead you to write your story, that can make you easy also. So write the story in the proper order simply. And if you want to write title, you can write the name of the characters, nature of the characters, and then quality of the characters. So easy way to write the title for you. Then write the story in the proper order. It means that the series of events, what happens, then what happens, then what takes place, then what event takes place, these things you have to write down. Next is start your story with a proper beginning. So you have to start your story with a proper beginning, like once upon a time, long ago, many years ago, long ago, several years ago, you can start your story like this one. So it shows, it gives the flavor of a story. Next, do not write unnecessary things in your story. Follow the given idea properly. So you should not add unnecessary ideas, okay? Unnecessary events should not be added there because it's a short story and you have to follow the given idea properly so that your story will be good in length also, in moral also, and in the format of the story also. So next one, use past tense to describe the events because we follow past tense, because once upon a time means we believe that it took place in the past, okay? So you have to use past tense, but write the thoughts and conversations of the characters in the present or the future tense in the quotation marks. And if you want to write down the conversation of the character, for example, the lion says to the deer, "Hey, I want to eat you." So this type of thing you can just write in the inverted commas or quotation marks. And if, for example, between those two friends also you can say, one friend is thinking for a while, okay, I'll mix the poison in the food and I want to give it to him. So if you want to write this type of thinking, thought, in a character's mind, that is also to express, we can write in inverted commas following, let's say, present or future tense. Is it clear to you? Good. Then write a suitable moral of the story if the story has a moral. So sometimes there may not be moral of the story, at that time not necessary. But regarding this type of story, generally we have a moral, so you should write moral of the story. So simply moral means what lesson do we learn from that story. Okay, so I have written there, over greed causes loss, Next one, finally, at last, check your writing and make corrections if necessary. Then you have to read from first to last. And if you think some ideas are not suitable, you can remove and you can add their suitable ideas. If any grammar mistake, you can correct, and if the events are not in a proper order, then you can change the position of the sentences to make proper order, These things you can do. So for this one, you have to very carefully read your story and you can make corrections if you feel there, This is what you have to do while writing a story. So I suggest you to write these tips in your notebook. I hope you have already written, okay? So now based on the tips, can you develop this type of a story? Sure, good. Now in your free time, you can just do these things, okay? Your home assignment. Write a story beginning with, once upon a time, there was a rich lady in a town. So you can develop any story. As I have already told you that one story can be different from another student's, let's say, story also. Because here is only the beginning, and based on this beginning, you can make any story. But that story should have generally moral. That story should be in a proper order, okay? Don't forget it. Next, write a story, and I have added it to you. Write a story ending with, see, this first one is beginning with, this one is ending with. At last, the merchant thanked the rain due to which his life was saved. So to match this ending, you can develop any readable story. Another interesting, see, I have added to you, write a story for the title. Now this title is given to you, A Foolish King. So based on this title, you develop your story. See, you are free. I think it's easy to you. And another one again, write a story for the moral. You can be given only the moral, okay? So your moral can be, think before you leap, okay? Think before you leap. For this moral, you can develop any story. Is it interesting to you? Yes, and I think story is always interesting to us. So I hope you can develop 4 stories based on the beginning, based on the ending, based on the title, and based on the moral. So can you do it? Good. If so, now I think it's not new to you also. If so, now we have another task on the writing too. So what is it? Can you tell me? Okay, it's not about, yes, it is a story, but news story, not that type of story, another story, you can say news report. If we say news report or if we say news story, that means a piece of writing that is written to publish in the newspaper to inform to its reader. For example, in your area, if there is football matches, tournament, and if you watch that one, then you can prepare a news report, you can write it, and you can send it to the newspaper for publishing. And tomorrow, the readers of your area will know about the news of that event. Sometimes there can be an accident, and in our previous class also, we had, an example of news report of Pokhara International Airport inaugurated by the Prime Minister. That is also an example. And after reading that one, we can understand who inaugurated that one, who were other guests there, what did they say, these things we can understand. Understood? So here also one task for you. Write a news report using the following clues. Now clues are given to you. So the title of this news report is Hospital Inaugurated in Doti. It means that like Pokhara International Airport inaugurated in Pokhara, but here hospital also started formally in Doti district of Nepal. Okay, and what are the clues given here? You can see a hospital, then the inaugurated among a big mass by Minister of Health, built from the financial support of the government of Nepal, work started in 2019, ended in 2021, has the capacity of 60 beds, the hospital has this capacity, people look happy and hopeful about the future. So based on this one, you have to write a news report. Now, first of all, I just want to show you an example, a model news report, okay, model news story, and based on that one, again you have to do. Is it okay for you? All right. Now, the story can be like this one, news story, okay. See, this is the title given in our clues, Hospital Inaugurated in Doti. Now, by ABC, so you can find this is a person who has written this, let's say, news report, and then from where and when it was written, Doti, June 26, okay, and then this is how you can start. For example, a newly built hospital was inaugurated among a big mass by Minister of Health, XYZ, for example, name of the minister, yesterday. The hospital was built from the financial support of the government of Nepal. The constructing work started in 2019 and ended in 2021. The hospital has the capacity of 60 beds. The people of Doti and neighboring districts look happy and hopeful about the future to get better health facilities. Then, the chief guest said the hospital will play a key role to provide good health facilities to the people in Doti and other neighboring districts. Moreover, we are thinking to add more beds and other departments for enhancing its capacity in the future so that the people should not go to the cities for their treatment. See, this is how this news report is ended. Now, I just like to make you clear about the parts of a news story, or you can say news report. For this one, now you can see here, hospital inaugurated in Doti. So what do we call it? Title. Okay, but technically we have to call it headline. News reports headline here. So what is the headline here? Hospital inaugurated in Doti. Now after that, don't forget, here is by ABC. It means that source of the news report. It can be person, sometimes it can be the correspondent of the particular media house, So here I am writing ABC. And if you write this news report, you can write your name. By, you can write your name. And what do we call it technically? Can you tell me? Yes, it is, you can say byline, okay? So source of the news, person who writes this news, byline. Don't forget it. Please write these things in your exercise book. Now another we have here Doti June 26, and you can find different formats if you see different newspapers. Some of them write here address first and date, some of them date and address, some of them start this first line after this date here, some of them just below this one. You can find varieties of formats in the different media's house. Okay, now here Doti June 26. So what do we call it technically? Can you tell me? Yes, this part is called dateline. Okay, so in our dateline there should be place from where the news has been prepared, and then date, on what date the news is written. These two things you have to mention here. So don't forget, first headline, then source byline, then place and date from where and when the news has been prepared. Okay, now after this one, you can see a newly built hospital was inaugurated among a big mass by Minister of Health. So I just like to give you an idea for the first paragraph. This is only one paragraph, okay, but in the first part, if you have written one paragraph, in the first part you have to deal with WH question. What happens, where happens, how happens, why happens, who are benefited, who did that one, these things we have to deal. This is what we call leading paragraph. So while writing a news report, the first paragraph is called a leading paragraph. And for example, if I am a reader, then if I read the first paragraph, then I will get basic information of that event. Like what happens, how, why, where, who, whom, whose, I will get basic information. And if I want to get news in detail, or if I want to know more about the events at that time, I can go other paragraphs. Okay, that's why don't forget, you have to write down the basic information in the first paragraph dealing with WH question, and this paragraph is called leading paragraph. Is it clear to you? So you can find here a newly built hospital was inaugurated. What happened there? Why? See, inaugurated. Why? Because newly built hospital was there. And who were there? A big mass, means many people were there. Who did that one? Who inaugurated? Minister of Health, And the hospital was built from the financial support. Who helped there? Who supported there? Government of Nepal. And when that hospital was started building, you can find here 2019. And when was it finished? You can find here 2021. These basic things you can find. Okay. And the hospital has the capacity of 60 beds. And if you want to get more information about this news, you can go down. For example, the people of Doti and neighboring districts look happy and hopeful about the future to get better health facilities. And you can see news in detail if you go here. For example, the chief guest said. So what is said by the chief guest if you want to know in detail? See, the hospital will play a key role to provide good health facilities to the people in Doti and other neighboring districts. Moreover, we are thinking to add, see, the plan of the government, thinking to add more beds and other departments. Maybe there are some limited departments, sections, okay, like gynecology, pediatricians, pediatric ward, emergency, for example, and they plan to add some more other sections also, departments for enhancing its capacity in the future. So that, what is the main purpose of adding such departments? See, people should not go to the cities for their treatment, said by the chief guest. This is just an example. And if you want to write some other paragraphs, then you can add some more details about that event. This is what you have to do. So first of all, let's be clear about the format. So format of the news report is headline, then byline, then dateline, and then you have to write the paragraph. The first paragraph is called a leading paragraph, and we have to deal with WH questions to get basic information of the event. Okay, and if you want to give more information, then you can add in the following paragraphs or last of the same paragraph. That is what we call news in detail. And have you heard the news, let's say from television or radio? So first of all, you can hear their top stories, and after top stories only, then the news in detail. It is said by the newsreader. And it's your choice. If you are free, then you can go in detail. reading all the paragraphs of the news. But these days people are busy and they just like to read the first paragraph only also. And if they get all the basic information, then they don't need to go for other paragraphs. Okay, this is what you have to remember while writing a news story or news report. Is it clear to you? Good. If so, then what is a news report? Can you tell me now? What's a news report? Okay, news report means a news report, or you can say news story, is a kind of writing that is written and published in a newspaper to inform about the events to the readers. It can be of any. It can be of accident. It can be of any game, sports event. It can be of any political events, you know. Anything can be the subject matter of news report. Is it clear to you? Good. If so, now I just like to give you some tips for writing a news report, and if you follow these tips, it will be easier for you to write. So all of you write them down in your notebook. So what is the first tip for you? Write the headline first. Headlines should be catchy so that it would attract the readers. Now, when you prefer writing the headline, at that time your headline should be catchy. Catchy means attractive, beautiful. Just reading the headline only, people have a kind of interest to read the news, you know. So try to choose that type of headline. So for this one, you have to practice a lot and you have to read many news, you know, from different newspapers so that it will be easier for you, and you can just experience yourself, oh, which headline attracts you, which headline does not attract you. You can experience yourself, okay? And this is how you can practice to choose the headline for your news report. Next, what can you do? Use only main words in the headline. Generally, we use only main words. Main words means generally you can understand as like noun, verb, adverbs, adjectives, you know. This sort of main words should be used in the headline. So generally, don't make your headline very long also, okay? Next one is write the byline just below the headline on the left hand side. So I have already shown you in the example. So you have to write down the byline just below the headline, and that should be on the left hand side of the news, not on the right hand side, okay? And somewhere you can find that byline can be written at the bottom of the news also. After the news also it is written. You can find like that one also, but you practice just below the headline here, okay? So simply understand, byline means source of the news. Is it clear to you? Good. Next, write the deadline just below the byline. So after writing byline, just below it, write down deadline. And deadline means, simply understand, that is place and date, from where and when the news is prepared, okay? So you have seen the news of a hospital in Doti. So that news is written from Doti and date is given there. So it is an obligatory part, okay? Next one you can find here, generally write in past tense. Do you know why we follow past tense generally? Because if something already taken place, and then only we write about that one. So it took place. And for example, if you are going to write a news about future, for example, any event is going to take place, you can write in future also, in present tense also. So based on the situation, for you, if you have written this news report, already that event taken place, at that time follow past tense, okay? Otherwise, based on the situation. Next one you can see, use indirect speech rather than direct speech. So we follow here indirect speech, but if you want to focus, if you want to stress on someone saying, you know, at that time you can use their quotation marks or inverted commas and you can follow direct speech. For example, when I showed you the example, there also we use their quotation marks just to stress, just to focus on the chief guest saying, you know. So this technique you can apply. So inverted commas, quotation marks means we are focusing on the saying of the people, okay? Is it clear? Next one you can see, use direct speech in quotation marks if you want to focus on someone's saying, which I have told you. Next one, use passive voice to focus on the action. So you should know the difference between active and passive voice. So we use passive voice to focus on the doer. But if we want to focus on the action, okay, what happens there? At that time, you are suggested to follow passive voice. Is it clear to you? Good job. Now, after this one, here is a task for you. So for this task, what you can do? Write a news story with the help of the given clues. For example, here, Valley Public Cup, ... basketball competition, ... ABC school, let's say wins girls title, ... XYZ Academy wins boys title, ... the chief guest mayor awards the winners, ... says congratulations, sports for education and health. So based on these outlines, given clues, you have to develop or write a news report. So first thing what you have to do here, good job, you have to write down headline. After headline, what do you have to write down there? Byline. Good. After byline, then what do you need? Dateline, place and date, After that, you have to write the first paragraph dealing with the WH question, which give basic information to the readers. So that is what we call leading paragraph. And then you can add other paragraphs for news in detail. Is it clear? Good. Now, after this, I have a project work for you also. It's given in your textbook, and the project work is work in groups. Design the front page of a newspaper. For this, you can take help from your teacher or visit a library or surf the internet. So there are many sources for you to see the front page of the newspaper, and I hope you buy the newspaper also. And here we are talking about English newspaper. Now you can see an example of the front page of a newspaper. See, the Rising Nepal. Okay, here you can find most important news are printed, let's say in the first page of the newspaper. And what things can be there, I just like to show you here. For example, you can see here the nation's first English broadsheet. So it means that the new media house can keep their any slogan, motto, and they can keep their ad also, advertisements, it is their format. And here generally you can find volume, see here, volume number and date here, December 16, 2021. It is English date. You can find their Nepali date also. And then again, Nepal Sammat is also there. Okay. And then here again, you can find here Trayodasi. What is, according to our Nepali calendar, you can find there Trayodasi, Chaturdasi, these things. This is the design of the different media houses also. And the day is given here, Thursday. And you can find this newspaper in the website also here given www.andrisingnepaldelhi.com. And how many pages this newspaper contains, it is given here, pages 8 plus 8. Equals to 16 pages. And what is the cost of this newspaper? It is given here, ₹5. Okay. And you may not get full news, okay, in the first page also. So if the news are very important, they can just give here, and news in detail you can read in another page also. This is how you can write, they can write down page 5, page 3, and different events also like sports, political, you can say opinions are in different pages. So if you search different, front pages from different media houses, then it will be clear to you. It's your project work. So please collect and try to find out and just design one front page of any newspaper. Is it clear to you? If so, now finally we have another thing that is extra bit. You can read in your textbook. I just like to share with you. Adverbs or adverbial phrases denoting near in direct speech turn into those denoting distance in indirect speech as follows. In our grammar 1 and 2, we practiced it. For example, here it changed into there. Okay. Now it changes into then. So these things should be kept in your mind while changing from direct into indirect speech. Let's read with me together. Today. If today is used in direct speech, it should be changed into that day. Yesterday, the day before or the previous day. The day before yesterday should be changed into 2 days before. Tomorrow should be changed into the next day or the following day. The day after tomorrow should be changed into in today's time. Next week, next month should be changed into the following week or month. And then last week or month should be changed into the previous week or month. A year ago should be changed into a year before or the previous year. Now should be changed into then. Here should be there. This into that. And this should be those. Have you got it? Good job. Now, don't forget to change these adverbials while changing from direct into the indirect ones. Dear students, we have come to the end of our today's class. I hope you might have got a clear idea to write a story based on the beginning, or you can say ending, moral, title, and at the same time, you have got the idea to write a news report, or you can say news story. Please keep practicing in your daily life. It's all for today. Have a wonderful time. Goodbye.